Yo, hey guys, so here's another video. This week's topic is going to be on abortion and Planned Parenthood. Let's talk about abortion first. So, abortion is basically split on the issue between pro-choice and pro-life, and among the pro-choice, it is further divided into how soon you can abort a fetus. So I personally am pro-life, but I believe that the option should be available for abortion. I just don't want the government to subsidize it. I think that if you choose to do that, it should be your own money. So the primary, or one of the biggest private companies that deals with abortion in the United States is Planned Parenthood. And what they do is they offer a large variety of services, and they've always been accused of being a abortion clinic, basically. Now they say, hey, we are not an abortion clinic, we provide all these other services. So what I did is I looked up the actual numbers that they reported. So according to Planned Parenthood, last year in 2017, they performed 320,000 abortions. When you compare that to the numbers that they provide in other services, it comes out to 3,800 adoption referrals and 7,700 prenatal services. So the amount of abortions that they facilitated or recommended or got done is far greater than any of the other services that they provide, like based on the numbers. It ends up coming out to being 83 abortions for every one adoption. You know, if you think about it as 300,000 people, you can see where a lot of the outrage comes from. The average cost of the abortion, according to Planned Parenthood, is anywhere from $350 to $950. So if you average it and say, hey, it's $500, it's less than half of what the cost of a new iPhone is. One of the big reasons why I don't like Planned Parenthood is not because they facilitate abortions. I don't really care. There's abortion clinics. I think that it's better to have a free market solution to the problem of, hey, I got pregnant and I don't know what to do. I'd rather have them do that than have them go to a back alley and, coat hanger it up. But the reason why I don't like Planned Parenthood is because they use taxpayer dollars to support the Democratic Party. And I'll explain. So, based on Planned Parenthood's own numbers, they receive $530 million from government funding of some sort, whether it's reimbursement through Medicaid, Title X benefits, which are a government grant for family planning, which I think it's kind of ironic that, Planned Parenthood isn't about planning for parenthood. It's to make sure that you aren't a parent. So they get $530 million from Medicaid and Title X. They get $39 million from private donors. They get $30 million from non-government funding, which, whatever that means. And then they get $80 million from other. So the thing is, all of this money goes into a pool, right? It just, if you give me a $20 bill and I put it in my bank account, how do you know which $20 I spend is coming from you? It's just all in there. It's all in the wash, right? So how do you know that your taxpayer dollars, if you are religiously opposed to abortion, how do you know that your money isn't going to fund abortions? Well, you don't, and in all likelihood it is. That's the point. But that's not the worst part. The worst part is Planned Parenthood turns around and donates your taxpayer dollars to Democrat elections. So anybody who pays taxes helps Democrats get into office, regardless of whether you believe them or not, or want them in office, or believe what they stand for, because of the way the whole you pay taxes to the federal government turns around and says, oh yeah, Medicaid, here you go, bro, like all day, grants, all this shit to Planned Parenthood, and then they turn around and say, hey, I want you in office, and then they give that money to the Democrats. So according to statistics, right, the actual numbers, because all this stuff's reported to the FEC, right? Planned Parenthood's PAC, which is whenever you hear of a PAC, right? Is this PAC or that PAC or whatever, like elections, fucking everybody talks in like this garbled political acronyms that nobody means. PAC stands for Political Action Committee. That's what it means. Political Action Committee. And so Planned Parenthood's PAC donates $426,000 this year to these midterms that just happened. So close to $500,000. How do you know that wasn't your money? How do you know that wasn't money coming from the government? And if they have so much money to be donating to political campaigns and to lobby for certain people in certain positions, why do they need our taxpayer dollars to subsidize abortions? Granted, the largest amount of their funding is from the government. Everybody's cool with it. I don't understand why. Well, I guess there's the right isn't cool with it, but the left will turn around and say, well, the NRA does the same thing. The NRA doesn't get money from the government. It's as simple as that. Whatever they don't spend on an abortion that you don't agree with, they're going to give it to Democrats who you also don't agree with. So there's no winning. I think that government funding for Planned Parenthood needs to stop, or you need to bar people who do get government reimbursements from donating to political campaigns. If you have money, if you have so much money to be donating, you don't need my money to subsidize abortions. So, like, what is it? Do you need the money or do you not need the money? Because everybody, oh no, it's gonna, low-income households. Yeah, and that's the whole thing. They go and they prey on the low-income households and they kill their babies so that way they could get reimbursed from the government. And I'm not even going to go back to the whole it was founded on racism thing. And so that's the video. I'm thinking, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I think that next week, I think I'm going to talk about government regulations and regulatory capture. If you would like me to talk about a topic, leave it in the comments and I will seriously consider it, or I'll put it in a queue and I'll make it some other time that I don't know what topic I'm making. So thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you next time. Later. In the United States, you could kill your kid for $500, basically. Fetus rights. There's a term called fetus rights. There was recently a guy who got 22 years in prison for putting an abortion pill in his girlfriend's drink without her knowledge. Now, that's kind of a weird scenario because the woman can go and get an abortion regardless of what the man thinks, regardless of whether he wants to keep the child or not. But if it's reversed, then the guy is serving essentially, a life sentence in jail. I guess 22 years. Okay, it just ruined his life. It didn't kill him. The NRA ain't turning around being like, oh yeah, no, give me this grant for the small arms training and gun safety. Like, no, it doesn't happen.